What is up, everybody? We are back with some Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I've got a quick little update for you. They dropped a sneak peek at Vincent's new weapon that's going to be coming out later this afternoon. So let's take a quick look at it. I've already actually watched it, just to have some talking points for this. It's gonna be really short if not. And I will do a more in-depth of should you pull or not video later. All this gives us is the weapon, not the actual outfit. So I'll kind of talk about my thoughts on the weapon. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, follow along with what we do here. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on the weapon? And of course, hit that like button. So, let's get over to it. And we go here. So here is the release video, sneak peek video for it. So this is new Vincent exclusive weapon, features elemental weakness, a status-based debuff that can inflict an additional weakness on the enemy. This is not an imperil. This, well, we'll see in a second. We'll see. It'll tell us exactly what it does. So this does what's called Frozen Strike. Now this is OB10, and OB10 is going to deal 1,120% physical ice damage to a single enemy and apply ailment ice weakness plus 50%. What this is going to do to a single enemy for, well, we'll get to the time frame in a second. This is going to make an enemy that is not weak to ice, weak to ice. Now it's not going to be a full elemental weakness. As we can see, it's only a 50% weakness. What this then does is allows you to, maybe you got a strong ice team, you can take an ice team into a non-ice battle, use this, and make that team effective. So, this is going to last for 150 seconds. That is a long time. It's 2.5 minutes, which for these battles that is a long time. And I don't know if the buff-debuff extension would work with this. Possibly, because it doesn't say it doesn't. However, you are not able to extend the duration on this by recasting it, like you can with physical debuffs or physical down, physical attack down, physical defense down, stuff like that. It is also a first use only. So meaning on second cast or third cast or 500th cast, this will not reapply. After that 2.5 minutes, this is done. It can also not be applied to an enemy that is already weak or resistant to ice. So, like for example, you could take this into the Titan fight, because Titan is not resistant to ice, and you could make Titan weak to ice. You could not take this into Shiva. Shiva is resistant to ice, so that would not work. So anything that's not weak or resistant to ice, you can use this, and it will make them 50% weaker to ice. It also then grants a 5% limit gauge boost. Let's go ahead and watch the rest of this real quick. So it inflicts massive damage when attacking with the target's weakness there. And by the way, you can see that before the weakness was applied, they did 67,000. After the weakness was applied, 102,000. So about a 35,000 damage increase. One thing to note is we'll see next, this then can be stacked with resistance down. So because you've now made them weak to that element, you can now then toss on the resistance down, so which is going to cause even more damage. But this would have to be up first, because if the enemy's not weak to it, then you can't apply to resist down. By the way, the outfit and weapon, I'll need to see it, how it's going to look when we see it in the game itself. It looks alright. It doesn't look terrible, but I'm not sold. Not as sold as I am on the look of Tifa's. At least I'll word it that way. Okay, so that's all for that. We're gonna pop back over to the Ever Crisis sound at least. I'll maybe leave this up so we can kind of see the the weapon and the costume. And I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on this. So, when it comes to this weapon, what if this is kind of the new power creep here? So first off, doing 1120 damage, 1120 damage. That's a lot of damage. Even when I think about the weapons that are the ones that do like Tifa's shell gloves, I was trying to look for here on the Ever Crisis screen. They do 940% damage, and then when the HP is 70% or more, times 1.2. So, that has a condition to it. She has to have 70% or more HP. And that alone right there would do 1,128 if you meet that requirement. This is just 8% damage shy, because it was just, what was it, 1,120? Is that what I said? Yeah, 1,120. So it's 8% damage shy, and that's just straight cast. So this is definitely a new power creep. And I'm going to talk about this in the to pull or not to pull video as well, but I'm conflicted. And here's why I'm conflicted. One of the things I really like about what this game has done is it gets you to, while yes, they're trying to spread out what some of these characters are doing, they were finally kind of starting to settle into some roles. We now see that with the overspeed. But it was one of those where, if I needed an ice build, I was going to be using these characters. If I needed to use an earth build, I was going to be using these characters. And we're starting to get to a homogenization of the characters, where they're going to, if you can do something like this, where, you can make an enemy weak to ice, then you can just bring in an ice build and in theory, pummel it. I don't necessarily like that. I like the idea of having to have an earth team, a fire team, a lightning team. So I'm kind of conflicted here now because of that. Now, one of the things that this does help is our newer players. People who haven't had the chance to get some of those elemental builds up yet. This is going to help with something like that. You can, you get this weapon, now you can focus on an ice build until you can start building up your other elements. So it's good for something like that. I'm not sure I agree with this approach. I would have liked to have seen a very high ice down. Maybe make that the first one that goes to very high. And make that the new power creep. Or, something along those lines. But making any enemy, again, with the exception of those that are weak to ice or resistant to ice, weak to ice, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's a neat idea. I think it's going to push things in a weird direction. Especially if they kind of abandon this idea and we all we get is an ice weakness one. I mean, who knows? We still have yet to see Angeal and Tifa, so maybe they'll have something like this as well. I kind of hope not. The idea of this has its uses. Like I said, I think it works great for newer players who don't have the elemental build that most of us who have been playing for a while have. It's just, I don't know, it makes it so where you can just, pop Vincent in your party and just constantly keep him. I mean, my healer's already like that. And I'm kind of, annoyed that I only get to use Aerith for the most part. I mean, I've got some stuff for Matt, but Aerith is definitely kitted up better. It's just, why do I spend on Matt when I've got Aerith who can do all that stuff too? And I like the idea of being able to switch out the characters. I mean, like, I've got Glenn who never gets used. I don't have a reason to use him. And I would like to have a reason to be able to use him just, for parties, for, random parties outside of the battle tower that's for soldier only. So I think what this is going to start doing, though, is making it to where you really just bring in a certain crew and only have that crew. So I'm not sold on this. Not completely. I like the damage percentage. I think that's great. I'm not complaining about that. I think it's that ailment, ice weakness. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know, maybe when I see it in action, it'll change my mind. But at least based off this initial video, this teaser trailer we've gotten, I'm not sold. I don't necessarily like this ability. But again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Is this going to change the meta of the game? It very well could. It may not. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about this weapon. Do you think that this is a good move to have this kind of ability? Is this maybe the wrong move? Are you indifferent? Do you see this, are we going to be getting enemies that are going to be, not weak to, but, have a resistance to ailment? Which, could be a possibility too. I don't know. This isn't the power creep I'd like to see. I'd like to see either go up to very high for our resist downs. I'd love to see the materias go up to the Ga state, the 3rd level. I think that'd be great to see. Or even, like I said, the R ability, or the S abilities, being able to upgrade the S abilities to that level 2. I think that'd be a great power creep too. I'm just not so sure about this ability. But anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments below what you think. Let's start that conversation. So there's my 2 cents. When we get the banner that drops tonight, we see what the outfit looks like. We'll see if it's another Omni Elemental, or is it going to be an Ice Arcanum? Who knows? Maybe it could be a Ice Arcanum Plus, where we're going to see a new power creep into the gear. Because I'm wondering, with this ice weakness ailment, that's already going to make things a little bit stronger in that regard, especially with how much damage that thing's going to do. The fact that I don't think Vincent has an Ice Arcanum, that would lead me to believe he's either going to get an Omni Elemental gear, or, like I said, even possibly maybe a power creeped version of the Arcanum. So we'll see. But we're going to call that here. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, hit that subscribe button, leave that like, comment down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.